One of the major arguments made by supporters of Prop 19 to legalize marijuana in California is that regulating marijuana will reduce Mexican drug cartel violence. KPBS border reporter Amy Isaacson explains that officials on both sides of the border say they doubt regulation will limit cartel violence because marijuana is just one of the drugs smuggled by those cartels.
The SUVs rolled quietly down this Chula Vista street late one afternoon. It was June 3 years ago.
I remember that I was just simply sitting on my couch. My father walked up to me and told me, "Look outside, look outside." Looked outside and there was SWAT.
Brandon Pierce was 9 years old. He peeked out the living room window. His dad went outside.
And they pointed a gun at him and told him to get back inside.
The SWAT team had the house across the street surrounded. Eventually, 6 men came out. The FBI freed a 32-year-old Mexican businessman. He'd been held for ransom for 8 days. The group, Los Palillos, is one example of drug violence related to Mexican cartels that occasionally flares up in San Diego. Los Palillos killed 9 people. They dissolved 2 bodies in acid and dumped others in the streets. They also smuggled marijuana and methamphetamine from Mexico.
And then if you look at the violence in Mexico, you know, that just can't continue.
Richard Lee is a marijuana activist. He helped write the proposition to legalize marijuana in California.
The strongest argument is to, I think, personally, is to make a first step toward ending the violence in Mexico. I mean, it's worse than Iraq and Afghanistan as far as, they're beheading people.
More than 2,800 people have been killed in Mexico since President Felipe Calderón launched an historic battle against cartels 3 years ago. His crackdown is unprecedented. Even so, drugs continue to stream across the border to feed U.S. demand. The contraband comes hidden in about every place imaginable. In baby strollers, heavy machinery, a bike frame, through tunnels, taped to U.S. teenagers. But marijuana is just one of many drugs that cartels smuggle. Joe Garcia is a special agent with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. He says Mexican cartels used to provide most of the marijuana in the U.S. It was their cash crop, but that's changed.
They've diversified, and there's a larger increase of manufacturing of meth in Mexico. That meth now constitutes 80% of what's actually seized by U.S. authorities in the U.S. comes from Mexico.
A recent study by the RAND Corporation says legalizing marijuana in California will make the retail price of the drug drop by 80%. Prop 19 proponents say that means less profit for drug cartels. Less profit means cartels will stop trafficking. No trafficking, no violence, the argument goes. But David Shirk, who directs the Transborder Institute at the University of San Diego, says legalizing marijuana in California will not have a sizable impact on the cartel's pocketbooks.
The reality is that you would probably have to legalize the consumption of marijuana throughout the United States or in several significantly sized states to have any kind of reverberations here in Mexico.
According to ICE's Joe Garcia, Prop 19 wouldn't touch the Mexican cartel's profits from other illegal activities.
Heroin, cocaine, meth, extortion, gun running, bulk cash smuggling, whatever. They're going to find a way to do it.
Mexican drug groups may have already found a way to help protect their marijuana trade. They're growing hundreds of tons of marijuana in California, most of it on public lands. That way, the groups avoid the cost and risk of smuggling marijuana from Mexico. Some U.S. federal officials speculate California's Proposition 19 will create an even bigger market for this marijuana. South of the border, however, the mayor of Tijuana, Jorge Ramos, worries Proposition 19 could increase pressure on the border.
They're going to intensify to trying to put the marijuana at the other side of the border, and that's cost us a lot of lives and peace here in Tijuana.
Tijuana has made progress fighting organized crime, but the battle to control the city's local drug market continues. The fight has claimed about 320 lives so far this year. That's 60% of murders in Tijuana. Baja California officials also worry that because an open market for marijuana in California would depress marijuana prices to the point that Mexican cartels won't risk smuggling marijuana into California, they'll try to sell more in Tijuana. The city has more drug addicts than any other city in Mexico. Baja California's Attorney General Romo Moreno says whatever the decision, Baja and California should make it together.
It can't be made in isolation.
USD's David Shirk says ultimately someone needs to do a cost-benefit analysis of legalization.
And I think it's a question that American voters and American politicians do need to start asking, because the current strategy does not seem to be achieving those end goals of reducing violence or reducing flows and consumption of goods in the United States, or the profitability of organized crime.
The Associated Press reports today the federal government will enforce federal drug laws even if Prop 19 passes in California. In a letter obtained by the Associated Press, Attorney General Eric Holder says the Justice Department strongly opposes the proposition.